Okay, let's switch scene. You guys can see well. For some reason, they are having HP bars. The video is uploaded by Alice Vidal herself. On YouTube, I do not recommend to follow, but I need to show it for legal reasons. Don't watch the video, just watch it here, so she doesn't get extra views. Easy. Okay, let's jump right in and listen to the beginning of this.
Welcome, Alice. Thank you for joining Spaces, and I look forward to this discussion. And perhaps we could start by outlining, if you could outline what AFD's platform is. What are the main things?
Think it's too low? Okay. Let's go back and I will make it a bit louder. See, this is where it starts. I already can't get the sound right. Okay. Tell me if it's better now.
Welcome, Alice. Thank you for joining Spaces, and I look forward to this discussion. And perhaps we could start by outlining, if you could outline what AFD's platform is. What are the main things you're aiming for? Where does Germany need change? And just to educate people who have never heard of AFD or AfD, if it could be German. Because a lot of people, especially in America, have never heard of AfD, so perhaps this would be very helpful.
Let me answer that question first. The AfD in Germany is a far-right party. They stand for everything that is bad. They also get financed by Russia to destabilize Germany. They are against abortion. They are against women's rights. They're against LGBTQ. They're against foreigners entering our country. They want Germany to leave the European Union. And they want the borders to be shut closed. And they're racist and anti-Semite. They act like they want to help the party, but they're the people, the average working people, but they are super capitalists and have a neoliberal approach to economy. This is my summary of their party.
Okay. Thank you very much, Elon, for having me and to give this opportunity to openly speak about different matters. Let me just, can you hear me?
So she talks for like 30 seconds straight and then asks if she is hearable. Amazing. You know, they could just start recording after they ask each other if they can hear each other, you know? Just
I can, yes.
Perfect. To start with, who we are. The AfD is the alternative for Germany. It is a relatively new party, founded 11 years ago, during the course of the Euro problems.
the fuck are the Euro problems? Is she talking about Greece going broke and then Germany had to invest money to save Greece's economy? Is that a Euro problem? I assume that's what she's talking about.
So, unfortunately, I have to start when I shed some light on our party with
Your problem sounds so vague. Yeah, it's super vague. It makes no sense.
the quite negative circumstances in Germany.
There was not 11 years ago, Greece economy crisis. 2009, you're right, that was not 11 years ago. The fuck was 11 years ago? I
Our country is a great country with highly motivated people, but our country has been governed not in a proper way within the last 25 years.
Now, yes, that is true. But why is that the case? Because CDU, CSU, another right party but not far right, did most of what they could for companies, including Volkswagen, BMW, and stuff like that. They also completely dropped the ball on renewable energy, because actually like 10, 15 years ago, Germany was the best export country for renewable energies, including wind turbines and solar energy, but we just completely dropped the ball on that because they just forcefully put a stop to that because they want to support the oil lobby. Also, the CDU-CSU made us 100% dependent on Russian oil and gas over the years. So then when 2021 or 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine and we put the sanctions on them, Germany was really fucked economy-wise because we did not get any gas from them anymore, which led to Germany being extra fucked. And that was blamed on our current government, which is still a shit government, but not as shit as the previous governments. Even though it was not their fault at all in the end. So that's why the Green Party is being blamed for everything in Germany. It's a very common narrative. But it's not their fault.
We had the Angela Merkel administration for 16 years, and then the so-called traffic light coalition that imploded last year, and now we're having elections. In my point of view, Angela Merkel, the first Green Chancellor.
That is factually wrong. Angela Merkel was a chancellor of the CDU, which is the right-wing Christian party. She was never part of the Green Party. She never did any green policies at all. So this is just straight up a lie. Like, literally just straight up wrong.
She ruined basically our country. She enforced, without asking the people, she enforced to open our borders.
Well, the thing is, yes, she did enforce certain things, but the people are never asked on any decisions because we are living in a parliamentarian democracy, which means we vote for parties and the parties represent the country. And she thought what was right. And I think opening the borders is not any problem. The problem was on how we treated the foreigners within Germany because we did not invest enough resources into handling them. And thus we got overwhelmed. Massively.
For illegal immigration in 2015. She racked and
Yeah, it is considered illegal immigration. But why did that illegal immigration happen? Because there's war in countries, war enforced by the fact that we've been exploiting their resources and those countries are extremely poor.
destroyed our backbone in terms of obnoxious energy policy. For the foreign listeners here in this,
She doesn't elaborate, she just says they destroyed our energy policies? I mean, okay, no elaboration is pretty fucking stupid on that. Because I would make the point that she did indeed make stupid decisions by not committing to the renewable energies. But not committing to the renewable energies also would prove that she wasn't a green chancellor, as she stated earlier. That's why she probably niched out that part.
Audience, Germany is the only industrial country that unplugged the nuclear power plant.
That is not true. I'm pretty sure that Italy currently has nuclear power plants. Oh my god, why is my Google not working? Italy's phase out of nuclear energy following a 1987 referendum led to a major cost for the whole. Yeah, okay, I don't give a shit. Italy left the nuclear energy program in 1987. Okay, so we already got one country. Then again, I'm pretty sure which countries in Europe do not use nuclear power plants. Italy, Poland, Austria, and Denmark. In total, 13 of the 27 EU members operate nuclear power plants. 14 EU states have no operational nuclear. So, first off, many of them never had any nuclear power plants. Second off, countries like Italy already turned them off years ago. So this is a lie in so many ways. Also keep in mind, everything she says is, what is the word in English? Populism. Everything she says is just for populism. She only makes statements for them to sound nice and make it seem like she is right. Make it seem like she's not bringing up lies. Her bringing up the point of saying Germany is the only country that left the nuclear energy program, and then Germans hearing that and be like, yeah, our power went up, so that has to be the reason. She's right. Yes, our power prices did go up, but that is not the fault because we turned off the nuclear power. That is the fault because we were super dependent on oil and gas from Russia, and we turned off the supply of oil and gas from Russia, and then started buying the oil and gas from other countries instead, for a higher price. That is the reason why we've spent more. So if we instead invested earlier into renewable energies, more, the price would have probably been a lot cheaper. Because nuclear energy isn't cheap at all. So yes, another lie.
So the aim of Angela Merkel was to enforce just solar and wind energy. And you don't need to be very smart to encounter that you cannot run an industrial country with just wind and solar.
This is factually wrong. It is doable, and it would also be more than doable. You just need a proper system of saving energy in between, so you can make up for the outages during low wind or low sun times, etc. But having a big variety of those, having a good system of storing the energy would lead to a wonderful way to power your country. Like a giant power bank of some sort, yes. Those are already being used anyway, just more of those. You don't have to be very smart. It's something added to make yourself look right. Yeah, exactly. It's just something to make yourself seem smart. So it's easier to agree because, yeah, I'm also smart. Of course, I would agree with that. No, it's wrong. It's not true. Then also, yes, Angela Merkel tried pushing that forward, but it was pushed back partly by her own party. And also, one of the biggest states in Germany, Bavaria, was super against installing wind turbines. So they only installed very few of them, and that really halted the progress of Germany's renewable energies in that regard as well. So several of the Germany states kept that back. But also within her party, there were a lot of people against those policies, thus bringing them to a halt and not properly advancing them. And that is the major reason why that plan did not work out, not because it's a bad plan.
Because you don't have any energy and electricity when the sun doesn't shine and when the wind doesn't blow. And this is a major problem.
No, this is just wrong, because first off, they always make energy. Even during the night, solar panels still bring in energy, just very little. Wind turbines still bring in power during low wind times. There's also river power plants, I don't know what they're called. And these kind of things that also bring in power. So all these things help a lot. It's extremely long game, that's so sad.
Sorry?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm a big fan of solar energy, but clearly, if a country is at a very high latitude, then the amount of solar power in the winter is going to be substantially reduced.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's a significant difference in the day-night cycle of energy usage. So a lot of power can be done with solar and with large.
So Elon Musk is even disagreeing with her on this. That's crazy. Okay, but let's listen to the end because you were probably bringing in a twist to agree with her.
Grid energy batteries, but it must be supplemented with other forms of power because there's not a lot of sunshine in the middle of winter in Germany. So the solution obviously must be a multifaceted solution where
A multifaceted solution which can be multifaceted, all of renewable energies, which was also the plan with having water turbines, with having wind turbines, with having solar energy, etc. All these things in combination.
there is certainly renewables, but also there does need to be some amount of fossil fuel energy and especially nuclear. I think nuclear is very much underrated. I think it was tragic for Germany to shut down the nuclear power plants. In fact, they're very well designed, and I think that the right move is in fact to increase the amount of nuclear power.
That is absolute bullshit. Price per kilowatt hour energy production. We could Google fact check this real quick just to bring up a point. Cost of electricity per source, but let's check images real quick. So this one would make hydropower the cheapest while being nuclear power the second cheapest. After that there's wind power, and that's still a lot cheaper than gas or coal. Generally to say is that the renewable energies here are in the middle ground of being the cheapest, especially compared to fossil fuels. But generally saying in these nuclear power calculations, it's still missing the part where you go with the finished product, the product that needs to be thrown away.
Substantially in Germany. This would be great.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That was the reason why I wanted to shed some light on the current situation. So, in order to form an opinion what our party stand for, because this is exactly what you said. We stand for energy supply diversification. We cannot run a industrial country like Germany with a still strong manufacturing base. To tell you the truth, our manufacturing production, it peaked in 2018 and it plummeted since then due to high energy costs.
I don't think it plummeted due to high energy costs. I think it plummeted due to the fact that 90% of our exports are cars, and people started being interested in electric cars, and all the German car manufacturers are not selling electric cars. And I think that's the main reason. I don't think it has much to do with fucking energy. And also, she's talking about 2018 being the strongest and plummeting afterwards. 2019 and 20, there was not even an increase in power costs by then. It only started being 20, 21, 22, and plus, afterwards, that power started increasing. I'm actually pretty sure that during the year of COVID in 2020, it went lower. But due to everything being shut down in COVID, that was also one of the reasons why we started producing less. But every country in the world started producing less. So that is also a very silly comparison to make.
And you cannot run a country like that. So therefore, we say, look, we need to be technology open. And we need to reinforce again nuclear power plants because nuclear energy supply is carbon free, right? So therefore, we would also reduce our carbon footprint.
Okay, sure. That is true. But what is your point? The AFD is well known for denying that climate change exists. The AFD is well known for the fact that she wants to exit the Paris Agreement. So why do you suddenly care about the carbon footprint?
Which is obnoxiously very, very high. And this is the entire irony about it. So our governments, like the Angela Merkel government and the so-called ridiculous traffic light coalition, they enforced a green policy upon our country that doesn't work.
No, that's not true. There was no green policy enforced during the traffic light coalition that we had until a few months ago. We actually rose in fossil fuels due to the fact that we had to separate ourselves from Russia. So the Green Party actually made many decisions that go against their party's belief and actually import further fossil fuels, even though it was against their personal beliefs. So that is definitely not the reason. So I don't know why you would say that.
And and we would like to go back to technology openness here.
So technology openness is a term that is being thrown around in Germany quite a lot. In the German word being Technologieoffenheit. People are throwing that around all the time, just as a phrase, as a random phrase of populism. This phrase means absolutely nothing. What does it mean? It means being open to new technology. Okay, no shit. If there's a new technology and it's good, of course you're gonna accept that one and use it. But just saying, oh yeah, let's wait for something new and not change the current status quo, which is essentially what they're implying with that, it's not gonna fucking do anything positive for anyone in this fucking shithole. So I fucking hate people throwing that around. For no reason. They just want to keep up the current situation and not change anything and wait for something better. Well, there will be nothing better.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, my recommendation, and I've said this publicly before, is that Germany should not merely reopen the nuclear power plants, but substantially increase the power generation. The you don't with in the same space, meaning without increasing the size of the nuclear power plant in any meaningful way without increasing the amount of land area that it uses, you can dramatically increase the power output of a nuclear power station because the actual core part of the power station is extremely tiny. People don't quite realize just how small the center core of a nuclear power plant is.
Yes.
It's like amazingly tiny. And so
Oh yeah, just like your fucking penis. What's your point?
you can actually, in the same land area, no increased land area, dramatically increase the amount of nuclear power that that any given nuclear power station is producing. You do need a water source for the to run the steam turbines, but really far more power output is possible than people realize.
Yeah, okay, sure. Let's assume that is correct. Let's just say that is correct. We could make more power if we used more for the power stations. Remind me, last summer, who supplied the French people with power? Was it their power plants? Or was it Germany with renewable energies because they had to turn off their power plants because they had lack of water in their country? Oh yeah, right, that was a thing. They had to turn off all their power plants. Literally last year. During the summer because it was too hot. But they saying that the fucking renewable energies are unreliable. It's beyond stupid to me. There's 0 point, because the water will be a valuable resource which we cannot afford to waste. And being in a situation where we can't properly water the nuclear power plants and them not ending up being usable, it's not gonna be favorable for anyone.
And I think that the sensible solution is renewables, but with a lot of nuclear, and then to supplement where that there has to be some amount of hydrocarbon power generation to supplement.
Yes.
Where it just needs to be sensible.
Yeah, absolutely. But
That was literally saying nothing. This was saying so much while saying absolutely nothing for no reason. What?
do you know what? So just let me do just like one more example, because like wind turbines, wind energy, in comparison to nuclear power supply, is highly inefficient.
How does that make sense? How can it be inefficient when it wastes absolutely nothing because the wind doesn't get used up? It in terms of the price it costs to build a wind turbine, or what is the point she's gonna make?
Also, in terms of land use. So, for instance, I give one example just to shed some light on it. If you were to replace one nuclear power plant, let's say like Emsland nuclear power plant here in Germany, with an annual electricity production of 10 billion kilowatt per hour, with modern wind turbines, with a production of just 8 million kilowatt per hour per year, you would need 1,250 wind turbines.
Yeah. And the good thing about wind turbines is they don't have to be all in one place. But you can't fucking separate a nuclear power plant and build some parts here and some parts there. They don't have to build 1,500 of the wind turbines. I will just assume the math is right because I CBA to fact check that. You can build the 1,500 anywhere. And the thing is, the 1,500 fucking wind turbines don't use up any resource, and they also don't produce any fucking waste that needs to be stored somewhere safely because it's still emitting nuclear fucking radiation.
just to replace this one power plant, and with a rotor diameter of 70 meters and the minimum distance from large wind farms, you end up around with like 100 square kilometers. For example, this corresponds to half of the major city of Stuttgart, right?
Which is not a lot.
So, so this entire thing, and just to
I don't think she made the point she's trying to make. So, you can put wind turbines with a massive distance between each other, which still would leave space to build stuff in between, within the size of half of one major city. That's not a lot. There's a lot of space in between major cities. Whatever.
just to stress the fact again, you don't need to be very smart just to do your calculations. But our energy policy. Huh?
That's
Sorry.
the crazy thing. The crazy thing is like a bunch of these energy questions. You do not need to be like a world leading physicist. It's very basic math, like
Yes.
high school, less than high school level math. I'd say middle school math even.
Okay.
It's very straightforward. Not complicated.
Yes, absolutely. And then during the crisis, like during the war, huh? Sorry.
No, please go ahead.
Yeah. So during the war of Ukraine, so our gas supply was just destroyed, and that actually shed some light on on our severe dependence on Russian gas. And do you know what the government decided in this crisis when the energy prices skyrocketed after we were cut off of cheap energy supply from Russia?
I wonder what she's gonna say. Remember, guys, I explained you earlier, guys, exactly what happened, okay? I explained you exactly what happened, so let's see how she's gonna say something wrong, potentially. Okay, though, I'm gonna predict. She's gonna bring up the fact that we are buying gas from India, while India is buying gas from Russia. So we're essentially paying an extra price to India to, in the end, still import it from Russia. That's gonna be her point for sure.
They switched off the last nuclear power plant to even more create a shortage of energy. So either
This is even more stupid. So, the switching off of the nuclear power plant was already agreed on, I think 10 years ago. It was agreed on 10 years ago that the nuclear power plants will be switched off, and the current or the previous coalition that we had ruling our country decided to prolong it and keep them 2 extra years compared to the previously agreed time to make sure that the German power supply is covered. And once that was secured, then once the point was made that we currently have enough power, they turned them off.
you must be very stupid, or you just hate your own country. Isn't it?
I think it's mostly the very stupid category.
The very stupid.
Well, I mean, there's an old saying that like one should never ascribe to malice that which can easily be explained by incompetence.
Yes, you're perfectly right. No, so
but yes, I actually, when I saw that Germany was turning off the power plants after being cut off from gas supplies, from Russia, I thought this is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Just when Germany most needs
yes.
electricity, Germany is shutting down one of the best sources of electricity, which is nuclear power.
Yes, and completely carbon free.
Okay, yeah. Stop saying carbon free when you don't give a shit about that. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah, crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I guess if to summarize the two main things that AFD is aiming for in terms of change is a sensible energy policy.
No. The main thing they're aiming for is bringing fascism to Germany.
And sensible immigration policy.
Yes, exactly.
So,
But actually even more. So we would like, so if I may continue a little bit, because now it's a Elon, it's a complete new situation for me, that I just can have a normal conversation and I'm not interrupted or negatively framed, how that has been in the media the case.
Don't worry, that's my job. I will frame you negatively. But I don't even need to frame you negatively because what you're saying is just bullshit and wrong.
In the last 10 years, which is completely ridiculous. So what we also stand for, since we are a conservative libertarian party, so at least we see ourselves like this, but we are extremely negatively framed as a so-called extremist party by the mainstream media. So we just say, look, we need to reduce bureaucracy. We need to free our firms, our.
See, this is the thing. Saying stuff like we need to lower the bureaucracy is something that will be very popular within the German country because people hate bureaucracy here due to the fact that it is super common and super extreme in Germany. And Germany is also especially bad at it because nothing of our bureaucracy is actually digitalized, so everything still goes via letters and shit. So saying that will bring you a lot of agreement. But what she means by it is not making it nicer for the average people, but in the end she only wants to lower the bureaucracy by removing some certain tax reforms for companies so they don't have to take part in bureaucracy because those things don't exist anymore.
Companies, the individuals of this obnoxious bureaucratic conditions here. Do you know, like, how long it takes, how many days it takes to get a business permit in Germany? Just guess.
Well, as it turns out, I do, because we.
Oh yeah, the big plan. So how many days did it take you?
Car factory, just near Berlin. So we had many challenges. I mean, this is, to be clear, like we actually had a lot of support, a lot of local support from the local government, from the national government, and despite all that support, just the sheer number of rules that the people.
No, she just asked how many days. For real, how many days? How many days was it? You fucker. No, but this is something that brings no necessary advantage, like something taking longer doesn't necessarily mean it's done better. So that's something that would easily sound like something nice to say. But like, there's literally nothing you can say against it. Yeah, makes things faster, oh yeah. It's such an easy thing to say. Yeah, I want the bureaucracy to be faster and more efficient. I want foreigners to work and bring something positive to our country. I want everyone in Germany, I want the workers to be free and supported again. All these phrases mean absolutely nothing within within no context. All these phrases are useless.
In the government are required to follow is completely crazy. And we had to, I think it was 25,000 pages was our permit. And it had to be all printed on paper.
25,000.
Yes. But
See, that's a good point of Elon, which is exactly what I said. It had to be printed. How stupid is that? This is something I have to agree with Elon. Why the fuck do you have to print it out in Germany? This makes no sense.
20, I think
This is
maybe more
crazy.
than that in the end. 25,000, and then there has to be many, many copies made. So it literally was a truck of paper. Because we're like, surely we can make this electronic. Isn't that better?
No, not possible. You need to have that on paper in Germany.
And they say, no, it has to be paper. I'm like, this is crazy. This is only a few years ago. It's not the distant past. I mean, it's like we're well into we're a quarter of the way through the 21st century. It's like, guys, let's just 25,000 actual printed pages, and then I believe every page needed to be stamped with a physical
Yeah,
stamp.
that's ridiculous.
I mean, honestly, it's going to really tire somebody out to do so much.
Yeah,
They're going to get some
many people with tired arms.
Yeah, they're going to get a repetitive stress injury from having to stamp something.
Stress injuries.
Yeah, this is such an easy dumb topic. Like, yeah, okay. You found an example that is really fucking stupid. Congrats. Of course, everyone is going to agree with that. Like, it's such an easy thing to say. So if you have no particular plan on how to fix it, it's like whatever.
Like,
Yeah,
just send it
exactly,
to the
EB.
hospital or something. I mean, that's
Yeah.
so.
Truck of paper.
But like, I'm not trying to blame the sort of individuals who are doing this time, because they are just following the rules. So we have to change the rules, and there needs to be, I think, in my view, for all countries, but especially countries that have enjoyed prosperity for a long time, it is extremely important to have what I call sort of garbage collection of rules, which is to re-examine the rules and regulations, and make sure that they are.
Wait, let me say
For
something.
all countries, but especially countries that are just following the rules. So I'm not trying.
Truck of paper.
But like, I'm not trying to blame the sort of individuals who are doing this time, because they are just following the rules. So we have to change the rules, and there needs to be, I think, in my view, for all countries, but especially countries that have enjoyed prosperity for a long time, it is extremely important to have what I call sort of garbage collection of rules, which is to re-examine the rules and regulations, and make sure that they are clearly a net good, and if there's any doubt about them being.
What kind of point is? You have to review the rules from time to time and see if they are still valid and useful. Obviously, what the fuck is his point? Yes, of course. Of course, having to print out 25,000 pieces of paper is beyond stupid instead of just doing it digital. Yes, congrats. You want a Nobel Prize or something. Like, how are you going to bring fucking a digitalized system to the entirety of Germany within one legislature period? Tell me that, and that would be a useful thing to hear.
Net good. We should eliminate them, because otherwise we get to this point where everything is illegal, and so it's just absolutely crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not only
Doesn't Elon talk a lot publicly? Why is he so bad at it? Yeah, I don't know. Look at him.
about bureaucracy, it's also about taxes. Germany has the highest taxes
Yes.
of all OECD countries. So, so the normal German employee, he works more than half of a year for the state. You have to imagine that. With taxes plus social security, so more than half of the year you work for this dysfunctioning state.
Yeah. So yes, Germany has a high tax rate of 45% roughly. It is a very high rate. But also, There's countries calculated in, like the US, for example, like she said, OECD countries. The US is part of the OECD, and for example, their taxes do not include social security or pension and stuff like that. So comparing those two is stupid. Yes, income tax. Oh wait, income tax comparison by country. Let me Google that. Control F Germany. This is not true, actually. Let me research further. Well, goddamn, that's high. Did you not listen to what I said? So the highest income tax on average. So the top, so for people of high earning people, it's not nearly the highest in Europe. We have Denmark, France, Austria, Spain, Belgium, Portugal, Sweden, Finland, Slovenia, Netherlands, and Ireland, all higher than Germany for good earners. Yeah, but why the fuck do you have 10, 12, 22, 24, 32, 35, and 37? Those percentages are awfully high considering you don't have any social security included in them. So, Germany has one of the higher entry tax rate with 14%. Once you pass the annual threshold of 11,250 euro, but it's still not among the highest. So I wonder, is she... I'm not sure. So this is just straight up wrong. Let me listen again.
Of all OECD countries. So,
Wait.
Absolutely. And it's not only about bureaucracy, it's also about taxes. Germany has the highest taxes of all OECD countries. So, the norm.
No, she doesn't specify. She just says we have the highest taxes. So, okay, so here's my guess. Because people like her always try to be right on things and take that to a point. There's probably one specific category in which it is the highest of one specific earning class under special conditions. Where that is the case, and then she's generalizing it even though it's only a small percentage of the population. I assume.
Normal German employee, he works more than half of a year for the state. You have to imagine that.
No, he doesn't work half a year for the state. Half a year is for the social security. And pension as well as a security of losing your job. So if you happen to be jobless, you also get paid more. We have two different protections for being jobless. One being right after losing a job or something like that, you get paid an amount that is equal to your previous job's payment for a specific time. And after that, you also have the possibility to like an existence minimum of existence amount, which you get paid so you can continue existing if you are eligible for it. So, no, you don't pay the state for half a year.
With taxes plus social security, so more than half of the year you work for this dysfunctioning state, because like the state does not provide the vital
Okay, but a good point I want to make, I think but income tax for individuals should be lowered by a lot, because there's no sense of having income tax. It should instead be wealth tax, because that makes a lot more sense and would hurt people that actually work for their money a lot less.
the vital provisions for the people here. So he doesn't provide for security. So we have skyrocketing criminal rates here.
Right.
Yes, that's true. And it's because of poverty.
He doesn't care about education. So we have this same insane, wokish, leftish, socialist agenda in our educational system.
What?
In criminal rights here.
Right.
He doesn't care about education. So we have this same insane, wokish, leftish, socialist agenda in our educational system.
What? What is woke about our education system? Our education system is beyond shit. There's nothing socialist about our education system. And I don't know what's woke about it. But people are being racist. I don't know if racism is considered woke nowadays, but I don't think it is.
So the young people, they don't learn anything in school, in university, etc. So
okay, this is wrong. We do learn things in our schools. I think we don't learn the right things, and we should learn a lot of different things. But we have a general education on by law, you have to do 9 classes of school in which you learn German, English, math, some kind of science. At least one of the 3 science. What else do you learn? Germany, geography, history. And I think those are the main ones. The others are kind of fluctuating and different based on which state or city you go to school. But saying we learn nothing, also universities, that universities obviously teach the topic that you apply for. So I don't know how are they learning nothing in universities? That makes no sense.
they just learn about gender studies and
What? No way. What? This is not true.
etc. So they just learn about gender studies.
There's not a single school or university within Germany in which we learn about gender studies or something like that. Nowhere. Go back? Even more?
Insane, wokish, leftish, socialist agenda in our educational system. So the young people, they don't learn anything in school, in university, etc. So they just learn about gender studies, and they just, yeah. And no, really, like imagine.
I was under the impression that Germany had a pretty good education system that
Yes.
that was quite rigorous with the gymnasium and all that sort of stuff. At least it used to at one point.
Yes.
And that didn't change. It's, the schools are underpaid, the teachers are underpaid, and they have a lack of staff. But the general system did not change at all over the past years, which is not something positive, by the way.
So, but it sounds like this has, I don't know, the woke mind virus has infected Germany quite badly.
Oh my god, he said the thing, guys. The woke mind virus, guys. Yes, it is funny that Elon has a trans daughter. And one of his ex-girlfriends is also dating a trans woman. But this is hilarious. What the fuck is she even saying? This is not true. None of this is true.
Yeah, yeah. So you have the international standard of PISA testing, right? So the PISA survey. So
Right.
Germany, like a couple of years ago, was okay scored. Okay, these scored. But
Okay.
now, so we just plummeted because the survey showed that young people are not able to properly do math or speak or write German, and in some
Yes, this is factually true. The other countries of Germany all do better in the PISA studies, and that has always been the case. As she said, we were doing okay. Yeah, well, okay is in the middle of the field, and now we're towards the end of the field. The difference is not that great. The other schools just got better, and we stayed the same. As I said, in Germany, schools are understaffed. Classes are too big. We got class sizes of 30 to 40 people per teacher. And that is the main issue as to why pupils are not doing as good in school as they could be doing. And that has nothing to do with anything woke or anything like that being taught. It's mostly because of underpaid staff and too little staff.
like in some states here in Germany, you have to imagine they just abolished the writing grades in terms to get the language grade, right? So you don't need to write German properly anymore because our entire educational system has been deteriorating.
Actually, I know the case where she's talking about. There was one singular school that did it, and I don't remember the reason, but it's only a singular school, and she's now acting like it's an entire not the case. Again, one specific example, not the entire state.
And that is
And this is not about knowing German or whatever. This was only about the fact whether or not people are able to about dyslexic people not getting a bad grade when they know how to speak and write the language. It was for dyslexic people for the most part, because they could still express themselves and you could still understand what they were writing. But obviously, they would be forced to get a bad grade because they are dyslexic and don't write the words correctly for very often. And that's why that situation happened that you talk about in a singular school.
Also, the reason, for instance, why young people they vote for us now because they want to have a proper education and they want to.
No. Young people vote for you guys because you guys are massively financed by Russia and the Russian campaign, and you were the first to conquer TikTok, and young people are on TikTok, and the other parties are stupid and didn't use TikTok. That is the only reason why the AFD is popular with young people. And because people are being taught to be racist and taught that the foreigners are at fault for them not having a nice childhood and stuff like that. Because of fake information, populism, and stuff like that.
Have back a proper educational system that.
Ask a single fucking person under the age of 18 that is still going to school if they would like to have a better school system, and they will tell you that they won't really care. Because no one that currently goes to school cares about their school system. It's adults that care about a proper school system because children don't know any better. They don't know what's good or bad. They only understand if something helps them or does not help. Because they're fucking children and they don't know that it could be better because it's the only thing they've experienced so far. And they're very young and having different interests rather than more education in their free time when they already have to spend half their daytime in education.
That provides the young people with capabilities, and that is also the reason why so my personal opinion is that we have to go back to a merit-based system, right? So we need to go back to a merit-based incentive system and to go away from all this socialist gender things.
What is socialist gender things? The school system hasn't been touched in 40 years. This is crazy. Not the meritocracy.
Being in our educational system. The families and the parents, they have the responsibility of their children, and the schools and the university, they have the responsibility to give good education and not all this woke socialist nonsensical gender stuff.
All right, remind me again, where was the education system a lot better? Was it in Western Germany or Eastern Germany? All right, Eastern Germany, huh? Oh, were they socialist or were they capitalist? All right, they were a socialist country. That country was a shithole, but at least they had a proper education system because it was a priority because they were invested in it and invested money into the education system, and that led to people being well educated. And that's how easy good education system works. You need to give more funding to that. Period.
Sure. No, absolutely. I mean, the whole point of going to school is to learn useful skills.
Thanks, Elon, for your valuable addition. The whole point of a school is to learn valuable skills. Thank you. Wow. You added so much. You're such a genius. You must have 160 IQ. I can't believe you invented Tesla and also build rockets since you're a kid, and that's why SpaceX bought you to build rockets for them. Shit. Because you're with such a fucking rocket.
That help you in life, help you be productive and understand the world.
Yes.
and otherwise it's not a school. It's just a propaganda institution.
True.
Yeah. So okay, well, I mean that makes a lot of sense. So
We
let's
need to.
see. Yeah.
So maybe I can just go on, because I was just giving an example of the educational system where the state fails, because our state, the government, collected in the last year a record high of income tax. So they collected like around like above 1 trillion, right, of euros. So it is a record high tax. But the
Let me fact check that. Germany experienced record high tax revenues in 2023. The combined tax revenue for the federal government, states, and reached approximately 950 billion. I guess it's close to 1 trillion. Okay.
state, they cannot handle taxpayers' money. So what do? So they just throw the money out of the window for immigration in our social system, for instance.
Okay. The social system takes 20 billion each year. So there's still 960 billion left. So what is the point exactly? So this is not this is like 2% at best.
So since 2015, just to give you some numbers and also the audience to have an idea what's going on here in Germany. So we had an influx of almost 7 million people, but these are the officially counted.
No, okay.
So
7 million people. Wow. Okay.
7 million people of influx since 2015.
7 million people in 10 years is 700,000 people per year. 700,000 is less than plus 1% of our population per year, which is not a lot at all. The reason why we are letting them in the first place is because our birth rate is low and we need more workers to support the old people, because the majority of Germany's population is actually fucking old. So we need more workers in our country, so we actually need immigration for our economy to continue working. Without immigration, this would not work.
Officially counted. And then because the people, they just another funny numbers. Our state allows people to throw away their passports before they cross our borders that are not.
No, this is not true. It means that if people come into Germany without any documents, they try their best to make out who that person is. It is not allowed or whatever. This is bullshit, because it's still easier for the people that still have passports to get integrated within Germany. This is just a dumb point she's trying to make it seem like, look, they're acting like they're from a different country to act like they're coming from a war area when they're not coming from a war area, but this is rarely ever the case.
Not protected and controlled. So 57%, almost 60% of the people coming into our country through an open border, they throw away their paper.
No, they don't throw away their paperwork. Not 57% of them throw away their paperwork. 57% of them don't have any paperwork because guess what? The countries are shit poor, bad at documentation, and they're shit as shitholes of countries, which is why they're leaving in the first place. The countries are at war most of the time, and this is why they don't have passports in the first place. Because they're fucking poor.
Papers. Why do they do that? Because once entered our country, our funny country, with this funny immigration policy, they cannot be deported anymore. So that's the reason why. So our state,
Not true,
our
they can still be
government, like the Angela Merkel government and the last one, they proclaimed a policy that everyone can choose to cross our border to immigrate into our social security system and cannot be deported afterwards because they threw away their passports. I mean,
It's
like,
crazy.
how insane is that?
Well, it is very insane, but that's exactly what's happened in the U.S.
So, what I think is more insane is that we abuse poor countries, take away their resources, make the people that live in them really fucking poor, and then when they look for sanctuary within our rich fucking country, we try to deny them the entry and the support system that we have within Germany. I think that's crazy, and that's a funny number. You fucking Nazi Schlampe, as we say in Germany. That's a sarcasm, by the way.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I mean, clearly, there's a sort of I don't know, a sort of far left agenda that's being pushed throughout Western civilization, any place they can go, because the exact same thing was done in the U.S. where, and now they're sort of calling people illegal immigrants. They call them undocumented, and the reason they're undocumented is because they threw away their passport, just like you're talking about. In fact, if on the Mexican side of the border in the U.S., there's a giant pile of discarded passports and driver's licenses, like a huge pile.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, okay, that's 100% bullshit because this is gonna be the same bullshit. There's no way that is true.
Because it's actually worse to come in with a passport than to come in with nothing. And then, just like in Germany, the Democrat government then gives massive amounts of money and support to what they call undocumented.
Cuba does. Oh, yeah, some keys. Okay, the US government provides limited forms of support to undocumented immigrants. In emergency medical care, public health services, such as vaccinations to COVID-19, education for children, nutrition supplements for children. Those are the things that they provide. So yes, Elon Musk wants people that might be on the verge of dying to either die. He wants people that potentially could get COVID and infect other people to infect other people instead of just getting a free fucking vaccination. And he doesn't want foreign children to be educated. I guess that is the point that he's making. Because those are the only things that they're supplying on a federal level in the US government. Oh, and also in some cases, they get free legal aid. But only for deportation proceedings. That's kind of hilarious, to be honest.
But if they're undocumented, we actually have no idea if they are a murderer, rapist. We have no idea because they have no documents, so we can't actually.
Yeah. Or you know that someone is a sexual assault person and you vote him for president in your country. What's the difference? Really? What the fuck is your point, you fuckface?
Tell. And so as a result, there's been a massive influx of criminals into the U.S.
I'm checking again. During the COVID pandemic, the crimes went up. During 2024, the criminal rate went down. So, I don't know. It's Icarus. So this is not even true.
And frankly, I'm wondering what's taking criminals so long to come here. I mean, this is America's a target-rich environment. It's you know, you could in America it's so easy to steal things in these wealthy neighborhoods.
In America, it's so easy to steal things. What? Everyone is armed and shoots you. What the fuck? It's so stupid to say. Also, it doesn't make any sense because he's saying you can't know someone is a criminal because they have no document, but who knows when there's an influx of them, meaning you have to know. Yeah, that's really stupid. That makes no sense in combination. It's so funny. But why would it be easier to steal in the US? That's so stupid. What?
Neighborhoods. It's like the only thing that is going to slow down how much you can steal is if your back hurts from carrying out all the goods. You know,
What?
it's like because you're just like you're not a robber. You're just a moving company.
Oh.
You're not a robot, you're just a moving company? What? Okay, wait. Let me. It's like when your inventory is full and type and type. Oh my god. Organized crime went down. Shoplifting went up. Oh yeah, what a surprise. Prices went up and shoplifting went up. I wonder how is that disconnected? That has to be the fucking foreigners coming in and stealing stuff. Not the prices going up and people still having the same amount of money as before and still needing the same amount of food to eat every day. Yeah, I wonder why shoplifting went up, huh?
So,
Yeah.
it seems like all the world's criminals just come to America on that basis, because it's it's much easier to be a career criminal in America than it is in other countries where there's not that much to steal.
Yeah.
Um,
What are you even saying? What?
so,
But
so
may I
we've
ask
seen
a
a massive
question?
increase in crime in the US.
Yeah. Yeah. May I ask a question on that?
Of
So
course.
I read that, for instance, in California, by the way, I'm very sorry what's happening there. It's terrible. It's really terrible to
Yeah.
see. Yeah, it's terrible. But in the case of California, that they just lifted the prosecution of theft because you have so many cases of theft. Is it true?
Yes, the de facto situation in California is that theft is almost never prosecuted. It's
My
maybe
goodness.
one or two, maybe 1% of the time is theft prosecuted, and
Okay, in California, crimes I found is less than 600. For non-violent offenses are reduced to misdemeanor. This is not the case has not been prosecuted. It just means people don't go to jail for it. And then you have to question yourself why that is the case. And the reason for it is because the jails in California are full to the brink. No, it means if someone is caught, they don't have to go to jail. They just have to pay money fines of specific amounts. So they reduce the part where it goes to court, and they reduce the part where people go to jail for it. That does not mean it's not punished. It's really stupid.
And even when it is prosecuted, the criminals are let out on bail immediately. So basically,
Yes, they're let out on bail. Let out on bail means someone stole a product. Non-violent crimes only again, so no one got hurt. Just someone stole food, then has to pay money. That is a lot more than the item would have cost. And then he doesn't go to jail. And Elon Musk's point is, this person has to go to jail even though it was a non-violent crime. What the fuck?
theft is legal in California.
And this is just plain wrong. No, it's not legal.
Would be,
It's crazy.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Now, there was recently a referendum.
Yeah, for billionaires, stealing is worse than murdering. But the violent criminals become president, exactly.
In California to make crime to make stealing illegal again, which was and actually that was a very popular, and it passed. Because it was actually literally legal to steal anything under $1,000, which means people could just walk into a store at $1,000 at a time and take out anything they want. And if the storekeeper stopped them, the storekeeper would be arrested. So this is literally like the joke.
As if someone is non-violent and the storekeeper used violence to stop the non-violent person, then the violent person gets put to jail. Yes, that is a very valid point, and that's how it's supposed to be. Because if someone puts some fucking energy drink in his pockets and then gets tackled to the ground and beaten up, then maybe the person that put the energy drink in his pocket is not the fucking person and needs to be put to jail. It's like Trump saying that you're eating the cats and dogs in Springfield. Yeah, exactly. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs.
Joker and Batman. It's like the criminals, you know, are in charge, and the honest citizens are arrested. It's just completely insane. Now,
The honest citizens are arrested. Oh my god. That's so
like
funny.
I said, the people in California did vote overwhelmingly to make theft illegal again.
Yeah.
But astonishingly, the governor of California, Governor Newsom, he was against the making theft illegal.
And he just
doesn't make
didn't
any
implement
sense. Yeah, well, no, but what they're going to do is, even though it is technically illegal again, the sort of far left will refuse to enforce it.
There is no far left. The far left that they keep speaking of does not exist in the US. In America, there's only right and far right. Please keep that in mind. There is no far left in America. So whenever Elon called something far left, it's bullshit. All these people are arrested for being black, for dating food, for being a single mother in need of a baby formula. Exactly.
So, because you really need two things for something to work, for laws to work. You need both the law and you need enforcement of the law. And if you don't have, if you, if so, I mean, this is something that George Soros really figured out. I mean, he's sort of brilliant guy, but honestly, very anti-human in my opinion.
Wait, who? What?
So, I mean, this is something that George Soros really figured out. I mean,
I don't understand the name he's
if you have,
saying. Can he fucking open his mouth instead of what the
if you,
fuck, please?
so, I mean, this is something that George Soros really figured out.
George Soros? George Soros. American investor and philanthropist. Oh yeah, that must be a great person. I agree, idiots fucking crazy billionaires that can't afford a fucking proper microphone.
I mean, he's sort of brilliant guy, but honestly, very anti-human in my opinion. Is that you don't actually need to change the law; you just need to stop enforcement of the law, and that does the trick. So, but I think this.
She just says, dumb people. Yeah, dumb people. She's adding so much to the conversation. She has no clue anymore what he's talking about. No one has any clue what he's talking about right now, so she just acts like she's agreeing.
There is somewhat of a reawakening in the U.S. and I think even in California, people are tired of this, and they want change. And I think that's really if you say like what people are wondering, like why did Donald Trump win? And it wasn't just a small victory. In the U.S. elections this year, uh, President Trump won the Electoral College. He also won the popular vote, majority of the people, and the House is Republican and the Senate is Republican. What this says is the American people are.
Yes, but this is ignoring the fact that your system is stupid. Because you have a 55 versus 45% situation. So 55% are in favor of a stupid person and 45% are against the stupid person. It still does not mean anything, to be honest.
Demanding change. They're being very clear. And my recommendation for the people in Germany is to do the same. If you are unhappy.
Yes, I agree. The people in Germany should demand change. We already had fascism in Germany. How about we try some fucking proper socialism in Germany? Let's give that a shot.
With the situation, you must vote for change, and that is why I'm really strongly recommending that people vote for AFD. That's my strong recommendation, and I think this is simply the sensible move, and I think Alice Beadle's a very reasonable person, and hopefully people can tell just from this conversation.
What?
Like, very reasonable move, and I think Alice Beadle's a very.
Alice Weidel. Oh my god, he can't even say her name. It's Alice Weidel, not Weidel.
Very reasonable person, and hopefully people can tell just from this conversation.
Imagine not correcting him
Right.
on your own name.
Nothing outrageous is being proposed.
Nothing outrageous is being proposed at all, except deport all foreigners, including those that have been here for several years. Close the borders, exit the European Union. Go back to national currency, so no more euro currency. Yeah, nothing outrageous at all, guys.
Just common sense. In fact, I, as I've said publicly, I think only AFD can save Germany. And I just want to be very clear about that. Only AFD can save Germany. End of story.
Only AFD can help Elon Musk gain more power within Germany. That part is true.
And people really need to get behind AFD, and otherwise things are going to get very, very much worse in Germany.
Yes, because
Things will continuously get worse as long as we are in a capitalist environment where the globe is dominated by capitalism. As long as that's the case, workers and the average people, the majority of people, will be exploited, and thus will keep getting worse for this, including some crises we have in the world, like several wars happening, on top of the climate crisis approaching us, will make things continuously go worse unless we start fighting them. We will not be able to fight those things as long as we are within a capitalist society.
because you rightly said, there is a difference of making a law and then enforcing it. So now we have the situation in Germany where you have, on the one hand, you have the AfD, and on the other hand, what's so-called the Uni-Party, right? The Uni-Party consisting of all the others, because they stick together, and no matter what they say, they're not able to implement, to enforce the promises they're doing in every election, especially the Angela Merkel party.
Yes, that part is true. People are lying to gain the favors of the average people, to then make minimalistic change. The populism part is true, because within capitalism, there can be no real change because parliamentarian rule. Democracy does not represent the people or the workers, it represents the companies and breeds a small connection between the ruling class, meaning the capitalists, and the workers, the proletariat, which is us, normal people that work every day. That is what capitalism and the parliamentarian democracy brings. That's the reason why there's only a minimalistic amount of change within the government. To the part of sticking together, it's wrong. They don't stick together at all. They are just all against the AfD and said they will not collab with the AfD and will not work together with them. And that's what she considers sticking together.
Do you know that the chancellor candidate, so my running
Bro, Elon Musk, you fucking dumb fuck. Why the fuck do we hear Alice Vital on your microphone? I swear to God, can you not? Oh my God, I fucking hate you and your dumb fuck face. Okay, you have to wear a crown for the rest of this fucking video.
of the Christian Democratic Party, that it's wrongly labeled, for instance, by The Economist as a center-right party. So in my opinion, it's a leftish Green Party. But anyway,
Wait, what?
chancellor candidate. So my running mate of the Christian Democratic Party, that it's wrongly labeled, for instance, by The Economist as a center-right party. So in my opinion, it's a leftish Green Party. But anyway.
It's a far-right party. It's not a leftish Green Party. The fucking chancellor candidate was a previous part of the company BlackRock, I don't know if you guys have heard of BlackRock, but it's a massive investment company, which is one of the most evil companies on the entire earth. And they control the majority of every fucking every fucking company. By being an investment company, they have assets in almost all the companies in the world, and just being able to guide them. To say that person is a left-green person is beyond stupid. Especially considering that about 50% of the theses both of your parties have are very similar.
Angela Merkel was the first Green Chancellor we had here. So what he did is
Again, no, not true.
that he, by the way, just talking about interference. So I just look it up here. He called your interests in German politics, pushy and presumptuous. And
what did you say about George Soros?
yeah, exactly. And Bill Gates. So
Yeah,
that
Bill
was
Gates,
not
exactly.
a problem.
Owning a social media platform and guiding it to only present the information you want towards the people of a specific country, to mostly be presented with information that you choose, that will favor your points, is indeed interference. By definition.
When Bill Gates actually tried to sell his mRNA vaccination and not mentioning all the huge.
So if Bill Gates tried to sell his vaccination to Germany, that is election interference, or what is your fucking point?
Side effects on people's health, and no one takes responsibility about that. And the entire bluff and scam of wearing a mask, right?
And what does that have to do with election interference? That has nothing to do with interference of election, which is being thrown towards Elon Musk in this case. That is not the same at all.
So
yes,
it's unbelievable. And also that candidate of the Christ Democrats, like Friedrich Merz, he warned the world about the consequences of voting for Donald Trump in October last year. So
right.
so far for like foreign interferences, right?
Offering an opinion on a chancellor candidate, again, is not an interference. However, having a social media platform and using that for your favor and to being forced your agenda that millions of people use is indeed interference. Just again, reminding you, you fucking idiot. Yeah, Kimmy, I get it.
So it's unbelievable. Exactly. It's really unbelievable, like how Donald Trump was treated by German media and German politicians during his election campaign. It was unbelievable. And I mentioned that before in a Bloomberg interview. It created, for me, it created physical pain to see that, how he was disparaged, like, and his entire family. So, yeah, so I feel very sorry for these people. Just
He's a
like
clown.
saying negative things, and now
Yeah.
while we talk, 150 bureaucrats of the European Union are watching us, our conversation, to enforce this ridiculous Digital Services Act that is nothing else than a censorship on free speech. But free speech, right? It's
Yes.
and you said it. Free speech is a precondition of democracy. If you are not
Is this the right timing to bring my point on free speech? Probably not, right? Nah, this is not the right time. Fuck that. Yeah, AB, exactly. She was DPS because Trump was treated like a dessert. I think it is not free speech to let people hate on the internet. And the digital act that the EU is trying to bring forth should only enforce that information has been shared equally rather than having favored for specific political influences, as it's currently the case on Twitter.
Able to form a proper opinion and exchange opinions and ideas. And a democracy should be a competition of the best ideas, right? And of compromises.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Yes, exactly. Without freedom of speech, people are obviously not able to say what they want.
Alright, I will drink a bit. Thank you, Chris.
To say, and then they cannot make an informed vote. So if people are simply fed propaganda and have no access to what's really going on, then they can't make an informed vote, and then you don't have a real democracy. So that's why I say, free speech is the bedrock of democracy. There must be free speech in order for people to make an informed vote.
I think people need to be educated on who they're voting for, rather than it being a popularity contest who you're voting for, as it is right now.
So that's essential. And you can sort of it's actually quite easy to tell who the bad guys are. It's like, who wants to shut down freedom of speech? They are the bad guys. It's very clear.
yes. And do you know what? What Adolf Hitler did? The first thing.
Okay, let me hear this take. I mean, yes, he shut down free speech. Yes, that's true. But see,
He switched off free speech. So
Yes.
he controlled the media, and
yeah, state-controlled media entirely and only. So a singular person controlling media and owning the entire way of using media reminds me of a certain platform that is owned by a billionaire that bought this influence, and where he can decide what he promotes on it. Very similar. Demur's the fact is right, is the way she's bringing up is clearly deceiving. Yes, her point is trying to make that that shutting down free speech is bad. But they only want to shut down Twitter. Everything else would still stay the same. And they don't even want to shut down Twitter. They just want Twitter to be controlled and correct. And yes, he is facing charges in France.
and without that, he would have never been successful.
Yes, exactly.
Successful.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true, because the timing where he was able to shut down media was after he was already in power, because else he didn't have the power to shut down media. So I'm not sure if that's the case at all. I don't think she's making the point she's trying to make.
But
Yes,
this is what you do.
absolutely. Yeah. No,
And at the US, they want to ban TikTok, and Elon supports that. Yes, because that's not his platform, of course. That's not free speech. That's Chinese propaganda in that case.
no, exactly. That was one of the first things he did was to control the media and imposed extreme censorship. Um, and he really, what he was trying to do was shut down any pro-Semitic media.
Yeah. True.
Anything pro-Semitic or any defense of the Jewish people was shut down. So we have to, like, very few, for those who want censorship, they should, I think they should be careful what they ask for, because once you institute censorship, it's only a matter of time before that censorship is turned on you, and eventually they will censor you, and that's the danger.
No one wants censorship. We don't want fucking your fuckface platform to boost right-wing content exclusively and using it as a fucking source and thinger for your fucking people that use that platform to manipulate them into thinking in a fucking right-wing stupid agenda way.
Because people love to censor things they don't agree with, but they don't realize that one day that censorship is going to be turned on them.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So, you mentioned, of course, Hitler and whatnot.
You mentioned, of course, Hitler and whatnot. What kind of sentence is that?
There's a lot of the media wants to portray AFD as far right, as somehow associated with Nazism or something like that.
No. Don't.
So, you mentioned, of course, Hitler and whatnot. Now, there's
You mentioned, of course, Hitler and whatnot. Hitler. Sorry, just wanted to quote him real quick. One more
of
time.
course, Hitler and whatnot. Now, there's a lot of the media wants to portray AFD as far right, as somehow associated with Nazism or something like that.
I don't want to hear this take. He's gonna pull the classic of, did you know Hitler was actually left?
Perhaps you could address that concern, because people, when they hear sort of right wing in Germany, they naturally have a bit of a negative reaction.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the question. First of all, I would like to, since I'm a economist, I would like to shed some light on the idea, when we talk about Hitler, on the idea of the National Socialists. Back then, during the Third Reich, the National Socialist, as the word says, they were socialists.
They were not socialists, you dumb fuck. No. They were called National Socialist German Workers' Party, which was a fucking clickbait. Just like today, people are using clickbaits to motivate people. They were not socialists at all. Nothing of fucking being socialist was included. They were very much capitalist. They were very much capitalist extreme. You didn't send me anything, huh? Just talking smack. It's sending. Oh my god. Okay, guys. Okay, we can continue now.
Adolf
Yeah,
Hitler
very much
considered,
so.
yeah,
They nationalized industries like crazy.
yes, absolutely. He was
He had a nationalized industry. That's not true. What? He still had private companies working for him for the most part.
a communist, and he considered
He was a communist? He fucking despised communists. The first thing he did when he got into power was literally dissolve the Communist Party, put them to jail, and quite literally murder them. That's what happened to the Communist parties. He was not a communist because there was Communist parties that were opposing him and they were the only ones opposing him. And the communists were the first people among the Jews to go to jail and to go to working camps, etc. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous statement to make. Also, quick reminder, one of the most basic definitions of being left means that left people view everyone as equal. The National Socialists quite literally viewed themselves and the German quotations race as superior, which directly contradicts anything left stand for. Left not even being communist in the state, just literally anything left. So yes, Hitler was indeed not even remotely left.
himself as a socialist. So what they did, they
Also, Hitler did not consider himself a socialist either. Let me find a quote. Real quick. Okay, here is one quote of Hitler. I'm gonna copy paste it and then read it out for you guys. Socialism is the science of dealing with the common weal. Communism is not socialism. Marxism is not socialism. The Marxians have stolen the term and confused its meaning. I shall take socialism away from the socialists. It's a quote by Hitler. It's one of things. Another quote in 1923 interview by Hitler. We might have called ourselves the Liberal Party. We choose to call ourselves the the National Socialists. We are not internationalists. Our socialism is national. Meaning he's literally not socialist. He wanted to rebrand the term socialism to instead mean everything for the master quotations race of humans being the true Germans as he defined it. So yes, he did indeed not think everyone is equal, in case you guys didn't know. So everything said here is absolute bullshit. He did not consider himself a socialist. And he absolutely hated everyone that calls himself socialist, or communist especially. So them saying socialist here would make at least sense in the fact that his party was called that, but the fact that they called him a communist is absolutely wrong, and absolutely bullshit.
They state funded then the private companies, and then
They state-funded private companies. Exactly. That's what I said earlier. Socialism is not private companies. Private companies equals capitalism. Quick reminder.
they asked for taxes, huge taxes, and then also wait a second, I need to ask the word now, verstaatlichen.
Nationalists.
Yeah, nationalize the entire industry. Yeah, you said that.
They did not nationalize the entire industry. They used the industry for national things. But it was not nationalized. It was always in private hand and private property, which is also a big reason as to why a lot of companies after the Second World War still reap the benefits of the Nazis, because they still made a massive profit during the times of Hitler.
Before, and the biggest success after that terrible era in our history was to label Adolf Hitler as right and conservative. He was exactly.
I don't think he was conservative. I think he was literally a fascist. Why do I need to think of a name when it already exists? He literally brought fascism to Germany. Fascism is a definition that views one race, in this case the German race, as superior, and tries to have this class as the ruling class and suppress everyone else and make them work for their favors. That's it.
The opposite. He wasn't a conservative. He wasn't a libertarian. He was a communist, socialist guy.
Yeah, okay. Whatever you say, girl. Nazi Schlampe.
So, full stop. No more comment on that. And we are exactly the opposite. We are a libertarian, conservative party. And see, look at this during during the discussion of this terrible Hamas attack on Israel. So only the leftish Palestinians, they criticize the policies here. So you have a deeply vested anti-Semitism with
criticizing a genocide is not anti-Semitism and has nothing to do with the Jewish people, but rather the people that are suppressing the Jewish people and are forcing a minority of I think 30 to 40% of Israelis agree with their current government to force a genocide on the Palestinian people. A majority of the Israeli people is still against their own government and against the genocide they are committing. Criticizing Israel is not anti-Semitism. I know that's a rough take in Germany to make because everyone always misunderstands it, But free fucking Palestine, you dumb because the people of Palestine are not in a war with Israel. They are being murdered. Civilians are being murdered. And, yes, indeed, the left people are on the Palestinian side because generally people that consider themselves left always try to defend the weak. In this case, civilians are the weak, and civilians need to be protected because they are not at fault for whatever anger some random ass political leader asshole wants. Just because they have some kind of fantasy of owning the entire West Jordan, the West Bank, and whatever.
Then the leftist movement, and it was always that case. Why? And Adolf Hitler, he also played with that. He played with the envy of people. Jewish people have been highly educated, very cultivated, and they were successful. There were wealthy people back in Germany then.
Yes, that's very true. That's usually the case because most of the people that could have the financial ways to travel back in the days tended to be rich. So usually when there were Jewish people outside the countries they have been forced upon, so Jewish people within Germany especially, or also Poland, tended to be on average well-educated and rich. But that's also a big part because of discrimination. However, I am not too well-educated on that, so I will stop it here. Because I don't want to spread misinformation, but everything I said so far is 100% true.
And then he enforced.
Because I don't randomly spread misinformation unlike this piece of shit here.
The envy of the population against these people. And it was a socialist measure taken against them. Look at Stalin. Look at the Soviet Union under Stalin, the very same thing. So he was nothing else than an anti-Semitic socialist. And we are exactly the opposite. We are a libertarian conservative party. We are wrongly.
So, if they both agreed on the same thing, like if Hitler was a socialist and Stalin was a socialist, if they're both communists that hated Jews, then why did they wage war again? Right, because Hitler hated communist people and wanted to bring an end to Bolshevism and fascism. And Stalin wanted to bring an end to fascism. Because they contradict each other.
Framed the entire time. And we would like to free the people of the state. I want to have independently thinking people, self-confident people. I would like to have a state that is minimized to his functions, and letting the people having their freedom of speech, freedom of wealth also, like generating wealth.
Yeah. You want to know what happens with freedom of generating wealth? It's that wealth gets prioritized into as little people as possible. But it's a good take to bring towards Elon because he will definitely help you with that because it happens to be that Elon is the richest individual in the world. So he will of course support making more money.
With these obnoxiously high taxes, the state erodes the backbone of wealth, right? So the people are not able to accumulate wealth that make them independent from the state. So I would like to have independently thinking, well-educated people who have the freedom to form their own opinion.
If we had well-educated people with the proper freedom of speech, they would not vote your party, because the only people that vote your party statistically are dumb people. On the lower EQ at education brackets, the higher the education, the less is the agreement rate towards your party.
I want to have strong leaders in Germany. I don't want to have stupid, weak leaders as we had in the last couple of years, because these people cannot think straightly. And they're a big danger. Look at the war in Ukraine now. They're a big danger to our national security and to actually to the entire European security. This is also my hope in Donald Trump and in your administration, that you end that terrible war, this worthless dying of young.
I mean, it is a point. It is worthless dying of young people. However, just giving up a country towards a person that wants to fucking oppress the people there and abuse it, I don't know if that's the right way. However, the situation's fucked regardless, so I don't know.
People every day, like as fast as you can, because the Europeans, they cannot. They actually given up on everything, like on a good military, on a good negotiation power. They completely depend on the US in the sense of, the USA need to do the entire job. We don't need to do anything. We just escalate the entire conflict against Russia. It's very dangerous what's going on here, and only you can basically stop it.
Yeah,
How can he stop it? I mean, yes, the US has the power to stop it by saying, hey, we won't deliver anymore. Go take it, Russia. Go, Russia. Go take Ukraine. And that's the way they can end it. Meaning Russia will have the full Ukraine captured, and the people of Ukraine being suppressed under a dictatorship.
I mean, I think President Trump is gonna, is gonna solve that conflict, I think, very quickly. As you point out, it's now been in somewhat of a stalemate for a few years, and all that's happened over the past few years is hundreds of thousands of people dying, but for no gains. And the longer this conflict goes on, the more Ukraine weakens relative to Russia. I mean, Ukraine is a much smaller country. It simply cannot afford the losses relative to Russia. Russia has, it's just, it's this is the longer this drags on, the worse it is.
I actually think it's the other way around. I think Trump wants to suck Elon's balls. But who knows, they might just want to 69 each other's balls.
For Ukraine, and then you've got all these poor, men dying and for nothing. Why? So
yeah, like literally any war. Again, making no point as to what he wants to say. So, would the take also be back when Hitler tried to take the entirety of Russia, Great Britain, Europe, etc. to be like, oh yeah, if we defend, people would just die, and people dying is kinda not cool. So I don't know.
I hope this terrible conflict can be resolved quickly, and I think it will be under President Trump.
But he's not taking a side, right? Like he's trying to be very diplomatic about it. I think that's kind of...
Yeah, it would be great, actually, because this is really like the people here, like many people are anxious, and they're anxious for...
Anxious, she means. Or she means ancient.
a very good reason, I think, because this conflict has a potential to escalate.
She's speaking German, Einches? Oh my god, I predicted it. I swear I said it before you wrote it. That's so funny.
big time towards a nuclear exchange. And
The nuclear exchange. Yeah, sure. So the best thing we can do to protect the German people is to just have nuclear rockets of our own. That will surely stop them, right guys? We just need to provide everyone with nuclear rockets. That will bring an end to war everywhere. We just need millions of rockets in every country in the world. You can see how well that works in the US. Because everyone in the US has guns. So there's basically no shootings in the US, right? Like no shootings ever. Compared to a country like Germany, the US has basically no mass shootings or any shootings in general. Also, the police is much more so in the US because, you know, they don't have a weapon monopole. So they never need to be worried about prosecuting someone because they can't possibly shoot back. So that works great. So we should do the same with nuclear weapons.
big time towards a nuclear exchange. And here, the European governments, they have no measure, they have no strategy, they have no red line, no storyline of their foreign and security policy towards Russia, towards Ukraine. They have no strategy to end that. And they don't have the military power, right? So they underspend the budget to NATO actually for decades, like for a very long time. Like the average.
Yeah, okay. I don't. Like, yes, our military spending in Germany was kinda low. And I believe that is good. Because in my opinion, budget on military is mostly wasted.
For instance, of Germany, because the share of GDP is supposed to be 2%. So Germany, on average, I think was just like slightly above 1%. So Germany didn't contribute. But Germany is also not prudent of the defendants of our own country. So this is the second thing. So we are completely dependent on the US. But I think, and I've listened to this very interesting speech of J.D. Vance. He said he doesn't want to have client states, right?
Right.
Yeah. So he wants to have independent states who
Yeah. This is all just a strategy to sell more arms over the world. And that's all there is to it. They just want the military complex to get stronger, the military companies to be able to make more profit, because if more money of Germany is invested into militaries, then of course the German taxpayers are essentially paying for military equipment. And thus military companies can make more profit for the gain of absolutely no one. There will be no more security or anything like that gained from that.
that also form their own independent opinion on things, right? So you for instance, in your companies, you don't want to be surrounded by yes people and by mediocre people, right? So me neither.
Right.
So I try to acquire.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I try to to have the best people in my team, and these best people, they have the task to criticize me every day, and I don't want to have yes sayers, right? Because you cannot learn, so you have no mistake.
He loves yes people and defies them. Yeah, that's so true. I heard about that too. That he prefers having people in his company that just agree with him. Or bring up takes that he agrees with.
Correction.
Sorry, I just said yes.
Yes. Yes, 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 people. No, but it's so important
No,
to.
no, yes, no.
Yeah, yes.
Um,
They are so funny. Oh my god, this peak humor. Ha 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 ha. Can you fucking move on? Oh my god.
so, but yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, for say my companies like SpaceX and Tesla, if you know, if
If being a CEO for Twitter and Tesla and SpaceX is so hard, then why can you keep having conversations with random politicians all the time when you're the CEO of 3 companies at the same time? If that job is so hard and so important that you're being paid an exorbitant amount more than the actual workers in their company, how come you have so much more free time than the average worker in your company to do shit like this?
we are constantly looking for critical feedback because if we make a mistake, then the rockets blow up and the cars don't work.
Yeah.
So
Then the rockets blow up and the cars don't work. How many clips have you guys seen in the last few months and years of Tesla autopilots crashing? He must be a great CEO then, huh?
physics is very unforgiving. There's I say like really physics is the law, and everything else is a recommendation because I've seen people break every kind of law, but I haven't seen them break physics. And so if you
Oh my god, he's such a genius. You can't break physics, guys. Poor.
don't get the design of the rocket and the operation of the rocket exactly right, and if even one thing is wrong, the rocket explodes.
Yeah.
So, that's why I'm a strong believer in seeking critical feedback. And in fact, I think critical feedback should be viewed as a gift.
Yes.
My critical feedback to you is that, your only approach is to enrich the rich people, including yourself. And I don't believe that will bring humanity forward. At all. That is my critical feedback to you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
So
No. But just to continue on that topic. So if you don't.
Pause? What? When I left, I heard her mention yes, Pew. What is that? People that agree with you, regardless of what you're saying.
Don't have that feedback loop. So your rocket may explode, right? But here in this critical phase of this terrible war in the Ukraine, many people may die due to these stupid policies that have been made.
Many people have died. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's touch on some maybe potential what people may view as hot button issues. Like,
Sure.
what are your views on Israel?
No, I don't even want to go into this. Oh my god. Okay, let's hear.
Oh, very complicated. The more
Okay, well,
no,
we have
no,
time,
really,
so.
like the more I read about the Middle East and the situation in Israel.
Okay, so here's the main point. She is a hater of the foreigners in Germany, and 90% of the foreigners are from the Middle East and thus of Arabic or potentially Islamic origin, having an Islamic background for a big part. And that's why she's pro-Israel for the most part. And that will be her take, kind of. But she won't say it like that because that would make her sound racist, and she will put it in a way that it doesn't sound racist. or less racist.
The more complicated it gets. And
Yes.
to be honest, I wanted to ask you about a potential solution because, to be honest, like in my humble opinion, I don't see a solution. So maybe Israel have to find some alliances with the Sunni states, maybe if possible, and yeah. To be honest, from my point of view, like from my perspective, it's a very complicated situation.
She didn't say anything at all. She just avoided the question entirely. I have a very easy take on it. I think a country should not force power upon innocent civilians. And I think that's it. People should not be taking military action. There is this fucking the the court in Den Haag has ruled this situation unjust and has also ruled that the West Jordan land belongs to the people of Palestine and is has unrightfully been invaded. And that is my take on it. It's a very easy, straightforward take.
And I don't, I'm not this person, I'm not a politician. If you ask a question that I do this, blah, blah, blah.
No, you just literally did that, what? And now you're saying you don't do that, what?
I really say what I think to do honest politics. And to be honest, I don't know. To be very frank, I don't know how to solve the conflict at this point in time, and I hope maybe you have an answer on that. Sorry for being dissatisfactory, but it's so complicated, and I want to give prudent answer. And in case of Israel, I don't know how to resolve this conflict, to be honest.
I guess maybe another way to say it is, do you unequivocally support the existence of the state of Israel?
Yes, of course.
I mean, yes, the existence cannot be denied, but the current state of this situation is stupid. The way it's currently being handled is beyond stupid. It's about what that question is asked for, yeah.
Okay, that's what people want to know.
Yeah. So, ach so.
I'm asking questions that maybe seem very obvious, but
No. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Now I see where this question. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we need to protect the existence of Israel, and we need to protect.
The existence of Israel has never been in danger in the past 40 to 50 years, because it has always been backed up by the US and several other countries. There's zero threat to the existence of Israel, and especially not from the people of Palestine. They have been the suppressed ones, and Israel has not been the suppressed ones. The Jews have been suppressed in the past in our history of humanity for a long time. That is true, but they have been the oppressors for at least 50 years now.
Not only the existence of the state of Israel. I also think that Benjamin Netanyahu have made many mistakes in the past, to be honest. But we also need to take our responsibility as a German nation state to protect Jewish life, Jewish people in our country who are exposed right now to Muslim crime, right? So
Yes, that is true. There's been a kind of proxy war situation in Germany where synagogues synagogues, Jewish churches, I call them, in case you didn't know, have been attacked by Muslim people. However, that has nothing to do with the question of whether or not we should put solidarity behind the people of Palestine and support the people of Palestine, because they are just civilians that suffer from a genocide brought by the people of Israel, or by the Israel government. So one has nothing to do with the other. Jewish people in Germany facing discrimination because of an rightfully genocide waged by Israel. It's two different problems. Yes, the people in Germany, the Jewish people, can be protected from those crimes, while at the same time we support the people of Palestine to not be genocided.
They are not safe here anymore. So I don't know if you saw some videos here of the streets of Berlin. I'm right now in my office in Berlin, but like with all these demonstrations of the Palestinians here, well, a Jew could not walk through the street anymore, right? And we
That is not true. Of course, Jews can walk through the street because you don't recognize Jews because they look just like everyone else. But a person with the Israel flag cannot walk through a Palestinian demonstration because that is a direct sign of suppression and oppression towards these people. That is not the same. And there's many Jews among those people demonstrating, and they do not have any problems. Quite the opposite. People have been put to jail in Germany under the pretense of anti-Semitism, even though they are Jews themselves. So how does it make sense? The existence of Palestinian supporters endangering, yeah, exactly. Palestinian support does not endanger Jewish people. Supporting Israel endanger the people supporting Israel from the people that are willing or asking for Palestinian people to be supported. Because you're quite literally saying, hey, you guys, fuck you guys, I want to keep oppressing you, and stuff like that. And the reason why there's a massive support here is because those people fled their country to gain towards a safe haven just to be oppressed further within Germany, which is fucking ridiculous.
have a huge potential of anti-Semitic crime against the Jewish people. And to be very frank here, the AfD is the only protector, and I'm saying that like very frankly. The Alternative für Deutschland, the AfD, can only be the only protector of the Jewish people within here in Germany, because the Uni Party, all other parties, they did exactly the opposite. They let like millions of people in. They let them do crimes on our streets, like the crime rate are
Let them do crime.
skyrocketing, and so the Jewish people, they leave our country. When I talk to my Jewish friends who live in Germany and in Switzerland and in France and in Austria, they were very afraid after the Hamas attack on the 7th of October, because they were.
What the fuck? Why are they afraid? What?
They were afraid that they would likely to be attacked by Palestinians, by Hamas supporters, or by the Antifa.
So, since 7th October, there has been quite some time, over a year now, to be exact. So how many times did this happen? So were they rightfully afraid or wrongfully afraid? Oh, right, yeah, true. Well, how about sects then?
Or by the leftist terrorists, I don't know.
Antifa leftist terrorist. Antifa equals anti-fascism. That's not the same as
But they
being
were very
whatever.
afraid, very sensitive on going on the streets. And we step up for these people, even though the opposite in the mainstream media, the opposite is claimed. But
Yes.
this
No,
is
absolutely.
this is not true. It's just a lie about our party.
Yes, I think that's what I wanted to just make it clear that AFD is being massively misrepresented, especially in the Western media. Um, so yeah, and you know, no, obviously, I very much support the state of Israel, but I mean, I also believe that we want to be mindful and have empathy for civilians who are dying as well. The
Sure.
when I've had conversations with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and I think we're largely agreed. I mean, so there's three steps, which is like there's no choice but to um, eliminate those who wish to eliminate the state of Israel. Hamas essentially. But then and then the second step is to fix the education so that people, the Palestinians, are not trained from when they are children to hate and want the death of Israel. So
They are being taught that because they're being oppressed. Because Israel was or is an apartheid state in which those people are actively being suppressed. And that's why they're being taught in quotations. They're taught by their life reality that this is the case.
you've got to fix the education system.
People do not love their oppressors. If you don't want them to feel oppressed, then don't oppress them.
And then the third thing, which is also very important, is to make the Palestinian areas prosperous. This third step is very important, um, and this is maybe the hardest step, which is but you have to have that third step. You have to bring prosperity. You have to help rebuild, and you have to bring prosperity. And I've had this conversation with many people in Israel.
That is also such a thing. Nothing saying yes, of course. If you make a country more rich, more prosperous, and better, then the people in there will be less poor. It's us more happy. It's us less prone to leaning against their oppressors. Another solution would be don't oppress them, integrate them, support them, help them, and make them be equal.
I said that third step is essential.
True.
And they've asked me, well, when
I don't like yes men. Oh yeah, true, that is true. Just 5 minutes ago I said I have no opinion, but now I totally agree with your opinion. Which, yeah, sure. True, I'm not a yes man, but yes, totally.
has this worked? And I'm like, well, I'll give you a very big example. After World War One, the Treaty of Versailles was extremely unfair to Germany, and it created a massive amount of resentment. And the Treaty of Versailles laid the foundation with its extreme reparations laid the foundation for World War II. Without the Treaty of Versailles, Hitler would not have succeeded.
Yes, true.
And yes, and then
Well, here's a good example of something true being said. To support previous false statements. It is true that the Treaty of Versailles in Germany has been really bad. It was made after World War One, and it essentially put all the costs of the World War I onto Germany, so Germany was forced to pay back towards Great Britain and Russia and the US several billions of money, which led to the fact that the German economy completely broke down and the German workers being completely sucked over, which set the perfect ground for Hitler to get into power, which Elon Musk in this case said absolutely right. However, putting it in a context as where people are being oppressed, where it's not the same. It's he wants people of Palestine to not be oppressed, and we need to stop Israel from oppressing them.
But if you look at so then the lesson was learned. So then after World War II, when Germany and Japan were defeated, the U.S. actually helped rebuild Japan and Germany, providing financial support to rebuild Japan and Germany, and now Japan and Germany are allies. And this is a very important and fundamental lesson of history.
Yes, you're absolutely right. When after the Hamas attack,
Can't you stop moving? I keep having to redo the fucking clown thing.
I just opened Google Maps to have a look. Okay, what is the geographic situation there? And when you see the Gaza Strip, right? It's a Gaza Strip which is just locked in, with no resources and not even water supplies. So there can be cut off a water supply and other supplies, just like instantaneously. And this construction also like just having a look like from a geographic perspective, you don't need to be very smart that this is not going to work out. And to make this area wealthy with specific measure being taken, it's a very vital first step. True.
Yeah, I think it's essential. And it requires
What the fuck? So I looked at Google Maps and saw that the Gaza Strip is actually like pretty small and has the resources. I can see resources on Google Maps because I'm actually not checking Google Maps, but I'm instead playing Civilization, the real world map. And I checked Gaza Strip and it had no resources in that area that could be exploited. So, yeah, in Civilization, that area is not very worth it, guys.
Writing the natural human instinct for reciprocity, which is that, to basically an eye for an eye. But the problem with that, an eye for an eye, is that if you keep doing that, an eye for an eye, as the saying goes, an eye for an eye makes everyone blind. That's why I think there's great wisdom to forgiveness.
Yeah.
You need both strength and forgiveness. But this is the only way to stop the endless cycle of violence.
It's a very nice sentence. Like the eye for an eye makes everyone blind.
Yeah, exactly. So, so hopefully that can be the future. That's the best future I can think of. I think there's not some other future that works.
So how about, may I ask you another question, because we just jumped topics. What is your point of view? So we stopped that your administration will end the war in Ukraine very swiftly. But what is your perspective on the instruments and measures that could be taken? So,
Hopefully the future will be me hoarding all the power and wealth in the world. Pray it's you to it.
Would you like to talk about it? Can you talk about it? a little bit? So what we could expect?
Yeah. Well, this to be clear, I mean this is up to President Trump. He is the commander in chief, and so it's really uh, you know up to him. So um, I don't want to speak for him. So,
Mm,
but I
okay.
I do think that there is a path here to a resolution, and but it does require strong leadership in the United States in order to get this done.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, but I'm confident that it can be done.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I do think it's possible to have peace in the Middle East as well.
Mm,
These are possible. So and I think that would be a great future for the world.
yeah.
So
What? She's saying
um,
absolutely nothing. Oh my god.
yeah.
No, great. So it's absolutely fair. So very, very fine with me. Yes.
Well, let's see. Are there any other topics we should discuss, or if you have any questions for me, or anything you think
Yes, yes,
people might want to know
absolutely.
about?
Because
Sure.
because I want to ask, and many people are interested in that. So why do you believe that flying to Mars and populating Mars is
What?
your top priority topic, the SpaceX? And when do you think, when will you be ready to have a human expedition to Mars? If you allow, if I may ask this question, because everyone is interested. So these are great projects, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think
Who cares? It will happen when it happens. So I muted the video. Currently an upgrade to watching the video, but still.
high level, I think sort of like what set of actions um, are going to lead to the long term prosperity of civilization. The
Bro, he already starts avoiding. It's so direct because he always said bullshit about. Yeah, he already said 3 times it will be very close or within the next year, like 3 years ago, right? Something like that.
sort of a growth in the scale and scope of consciousness. Um, you know, the to the best of our knowledge, there we are the only place with life, or certainly the only place with life that is intelligent in some form. A lot of people think, oh, there must be aliens, but I've not seen any evidence of aliens. And if the archaeological records are correct, Earth is 4.5 billion years old, but civilization, as measured
Okay, in 2016, Musk outlined a plan to send the first crewed mission to Mars as early as 2024. 2022, he suggested that the crewed mission could occur in 2029. And in 2024, he mentioned again that it should happen soon. So yes, it did not happen last year as he predicted 6 years ago. I've not seen Lucky's person looking for it. He's looking with binoculars towards the Mars and he did not see any aliens there.
from the first writing, is only about 5,000 years old, which is about 1 millionth of Earth's existence. So all of human civilization is a tiny flash in the pan so far. And so we have to say, well, what steps can we take to ensure the long-term survival uh, of life as we know it, of consciousness? And if we are a multi-planet species, the probable lifespan of consciousness is dramatically greater than if we are a single planet species. This is not to say that I think that Earth is a
Thinking about space makes me want to play better Spore so bad. That sounds so fucking fun. Spore was so good.
about to die or anything like that, but there is some risk. If there is a global thermonuclear war or some extreme natural event like a giant, meteor that hits the Earth that causes a mass extinction event. I mean, if we look at the fossil record, there are at least 5 extreme mass extinction events that would have just basically extinction events that would have destroyed all of humanity completely. There's 5 of them at least, and
Good.
so I think if we should take this opportunity today.
Listening to this conversation for 58 minutes and 47 seconds makes me think that might be the best thing that could happen to us.
Because for the first time in the 4.5 billion year history of Earth, it is possible to extend life and to extend consciousness beyond Earth. And that window of opportunity may be open for a short time or it may be open for a long time. But just in case it is open for a short time, we must take advantage of this window and as quickly as possible become a multi-planet species and ensure the long-term survival of civilization.
So what is your time frame for a expedition, like for the first human expedition?
Well, yeah. So to be clear, what matters is not so much the sort of flags and footprints, but the establishment of a self-sustaining city on Mars, where the critical threshold is where the city can grow independent of Earth. Meaning, if the resupply ships from Earth stop coming for any reason, that the Mars colony does not die out. That's if we are able to reach that point, then we have passed one of the very important and fundamental Fermi great filters. There's this idea of like, well, why don't we see evidence of intelligent life? Well, that there's this idea that there are these various great filters that
Yeah, but this is kind of bullshit. Like, yes, of course, it's gonna be great and nice to have a colony on Mars. And have people there. But right now, we have people on Earth suffering and not being able to eat. So having such a project is beyond stupid. Fix problems on Earth and take care of this. Or work on it simultaneously. But right now, we're only working on the space part and not on our Earth part.
that these civilizations never pass. And one of those great filters is never going beyond your home planet. So if we can pass the Fermi great filter of being a single planet species, and to be clear, if we are a single planet species, it is just a matter of time before we are annihilated. One can argue about how long it will take, but eventually there will be something that happens that annihilates.
So, what if an event happens that infects our entire solar system? Then his entire point doesn't even matter.
Civilization. It might be very far in the future, but we simply know from the fossil record, as I mentioned, that there have been at least 5 mass natural extinction events, and I think there's added risk for humans that we could destroy ourselves, because the dinosaurs did not have thermonuclear weapons, so they also didn't have spaceships. So we've got.
Yeah,
The
that's
risk
true, Abby. He just
of
avoids the
thermonuclear war
global
that could
warming
destroy everyone,
aspect
but we also
entirely.
have spaceships.
But I guess it makes sense because global warming will probably not kill all of us, just the majority of us. And only rich people will be able to survive such an event.
That can make life multiplanetary. And but to answer your question more directly, I think we can send uncrewed starships to Mars in approximately 2 years. So Earth and Mars are Earth and Mars align for planetary transfer roughly every 2 years, every 26
years. Ah,
yes.
2 years.
Yes. So the Earth obviously takes a year to go around the sun. Mars takes approximately 2 years. And obviously, one cannot go to Mars when it is on the other side of the sun from Earth.
Yeah.
So we have to wait for when Mars is in roughly the same quadrant of the solar system as Earth. And
I can't wait for the people that get sent there to incinerate.
that occurs.
Similar to the people that went to the fucking Titanic. It will be the exact same thing, just that these people will actually be sad because they're not random ass billionaires or millionaires.
For about 6 months every 2 years. And the optimal transfer window is typically just a few months. So for a few months every 2 years or every 26 months, you can transfer to Mars. So we're currently.
In the end, what will happen is that Elon is super hyped to push this project forward, so he will make them do it prematurely even though it hasn't been fully finished yet, and then the first mission will fail, but he doesn't care, so he will force it again 2 years later, and that one might succeed then. Just predicting.
There's currently a Mars transfer window, which means that the next one is in 2 years from now. And then there'll be another one 2 years after that. So for the one in 2 years, I think we can send uncrewed starships to land on Mars to test that the landing systems are working properly. We want to make sure that we don't, add more craters to Mars.
Yeah, that would be.
The crater count increment must be 0. And once we prove that it is safe to land, then if all the ships we send in about 2 years land safely, and we think we understand the issues, then in principle, that in about 4 years you could send the first people, and then
Does he still talk about something else? Because I really don't give a shit about this.
When things are very uncertain, I self-sustaining.
He's mansplaining to her so hard.
So maybe it's a a fundamental that point branches. The resource to fleet out there, the remotely just remarkable body. So
She's so bored, that's so funny.
and that's later. I think is maybe 1,000 years last as compared to the universe, just to find millions of years, and that can last a time. We don't want civilization. We should aim.
So often exploded and then reordered. Do you right go
believing in things proportionate to the information that I receive? So, so I mean, I guess I have sort of a physics view of I was that and things that continue to occur. I try.
Still on a search. I don't know what to believe. So it's called maybe a agnostic. And but it's very interesting to see how the world and also the universe evolved.
What the fuck?
But then I read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is really scale.
To be honest, for our conversation, because I don't know right now, like what to continue, because these no really, because these words are so beautiful, so I would just like screw it up, and it was wonderful. It was very it was wonderful talk.
Okay, so they are done. It was not wonderful listening. This was a shit show of sharing fake news and presenting facts wrongly to support your own cause. However, it was nice talking to you guys about it and putting it into the right perspective so we don't have to listen to these clowns hitting us with fake news. Generally, very important, do not support the AfD in Germany. They are against everything that is good. I didn't fact check this, but I read Elon said our president is doing all the things correctly to save our country. And it will all be great if nobody stops him. But not in this talk, right? Because this is not happen. No, I said red. Yeah, that's fucking stupid. But yes, of course he will support that. That's exactly his ideology. Of liberties for companies. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this with me. This will not only be the end of us checking out this video, but also me streaming for today. I'll be switching to the end scene, and thank you so much for watching this with me, and have a wonderful day. And